Greetings, groovy people! Welcome to my channel. This is the self-proclaimed Blue Dragon, and I'm here with an ink session video, Rage Against the Tides. It's a pretty epic title. Man, I really ought to use that as an act title, actually, instead of a video title, but really, it's probably too epic for this video, to be quite honest. I don't know. We'll see. I didn't plan this topic too much, just kind of felt like babbling about Act 4 of the Revamped, which is the page that I'm working on in the background. It comes from my free, not safe for work webcomic, Dark Horse. All the links are down in the description. So one of the things that I had, or that has been bothering me about the original version of Dark Horse, which for the time being is still up on Comic Fury until I get this act done, in which case I'm taking the old one down and putting the new one up. But one of the things that's been bugging me for a while is how I, never set up how the girls are aware of some future events. 2, I in no way depicted any of the trauma they would have been subjected to, having to fight a demon. Or rather, I never really thought to give hints that they may have been, affected by what happened. I'm not a good writer, but I was particularly bad back then. And 3, didn't do a good job depicting Kana's near breakdown, why she was more susceptible to possession by Kasima, and how there was a wedge, or a growing wedge, that's been kind of coming between her and her best friend, Rena. So, we're over halfway through Act 4 of the Revamp now. There's actually 44 pages in this one total. I was able to... It's still long compared to the other Revamp acts, but I've cut it down compared to what Act 2 used to be. But I've been addressing these key issues that have been bothering me by dropping in hints such as Kana's kind of crazy outbursts and the bags under her eyes. Not really crazy, I should just say her anger, how it's kind of been obvious she's angry. And the bags under her eyes, as I mentioned. Rena being a bit chaotic in her own emotions, nothing too terribly Word of Wednesday prominent, but there should be enough there to help build the tension. I've been especially, with these upcoming pages, trying to work on adding more pen and ink techniques. There's a lot you can do to build atmosphere, and I acknowledge my inking needs massive improvements. That's one of my goals, is to work on improving that this year. But the upcoming pages, especially one where I'm trying to exemplify Kana's internal battle, that's going to have quite a bit of heavy hatching and use of darker tones to try to portray that fight that's going on inside her mind. These two characters, Kana and Rin, they're kind of, at this point, they are the only ones that know about what's to come in the future, and they've been instructed to keep that future a secret, to not talk about, their time travel by a character who has, as of yet, not been introduced in the Revamp. We've already seen her in the original version over on Comic Fury, but she hasn't been introduced into the final version of the Revamp. So, as you can imagine, the stress these two have, and, they've been trying to prepare for, if possible, to avoid the possession, or, whatever. They're trying to prepare for it if they can, but as you and I know from Yuli's trip back in time, he tried the exact same thing, trying to change the future, but it's not possible. So they're going to try anyway, but it's not going to be successful. That shouldn't be a surprise or a spoiler to anyone. Although they have, they have knowledge of what's happening, because Yuli told them, in this act, this is basically him telling them what happened. They're still not 100% aware of everything that's going on, so, you can misstep it. I mean, even if you lived through something, your memory of it would be different, so it's especially hard if you're just trying to rely on a narrator's story of what happened. But even though they know what's going to happen, like I said, they are raging against an unavoidable tide. How's that for forcing meaning into a title I just pulled out of my ass? But I was also you know, regarding the act, I was very dissatisfied with the cringy tropiness of the original version of this act, with the scene that's happening between Odysseus and Rin that I'm working on right here. I am really trying to fix that, and you know, in the original I kind of had him taking lead on what's to happen in the next few pages, but suffice it to say, I've actually changed his character to be a little different, and so Rin, the scene that comes up is more in line with Rin's personality, what happens and how she kind of takes charge, more so than Odysseus's. So that's in the pages to come. You'll have to read it to find out what I'm talking about. I'm being so incredibly vague. But I think that does it for this week. Holy shit, this is a short audio. This video is going to be shorter than the other ones. That's okay, because I want to keep things at kind of 10 minutes. I've been kind of getting closer to 11 minutes and going over, so I am thinking, just kind of an update, I'm thinking of doing the July Q&A next week or the following week. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do it next week, so please stay tuned for that video. The question of the week: what techniques do you like to see used in comics, or anime, or cartoons, whatever? For, you know, what type of techniques do you like for dramatic effect? I personally like inking techniques, if that wasn't obvious. You know, if we're talking about like just, you know, random artists, I really like, I've talked about Gore a lot in the past, Edward Gorey, but if we're gonna stick to manga, I really like the one-shot Noise. Has a lot of great inking effects. Junji Ito's works, he relies very heavily, I would almost think, I had to check, but I think he uses predominantly ink techniques as opposed to screen tones. I actually noticed it in Clamp's XXX Holic. They're a team of chicks, but there's more than one of them, but they employ a lot of these really cool ink techniques. I do also like screen tones. I don't really use those very well, but I'm going to try to work on improving my skills with that. I'm a fan also of minimal use of color against a predominantly black or grayscale background. I think that's always effective if it's used in moderation. I guess if it's done well, it could be like the whole comic, something, you know, like Sin City, they use very little color, but sometimes if it's not used well, it can be kind of gimmicky, but I do like that when it's used well, and don't ask me to explain used well, because, you know, I don't know. Okay, quick announcement. I am trying to have the Earth Mother video out this Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific time. Trying. If it's not going to be this Friday, it'll be next Friday, but I'm almost certain it will be this Friday. And tomorrow I will have the Comic Theory zine links updated, and it will be free and open for you all to share with others. Please do share the zine in its entirety with everyone you know, and don't charge for it, and don't take pieces out. Thanks to my patrons and Subscribestar. There's a lot of road noise. It's early in the morning, you guys. Thanks to my patrons and Subscribestar donators. You all are the best. If anyone else wants to join their ranks, you know, if you want to contribute a donation, either one time or, you know, to subscribe, links are down in the description. You can also help with a like, subscribing to YouTube, and doing the bell thing. Peace and love, you guys. Fare you well, and keep on truckin'.